Hello everyone, it's Shane from Stour Vale. Sorry that I have not done a lot of updates at all. I don't think I've done one this year. There are a number of reasons. Time primarily. It's always really busy for me the first couple of months of the new year with work. Tends to be a particular peak time. So yeah, that's a main one. And then obviously some of the other challenges that come around about getting stuff out. And I think the other one is going back to the smaller board after doing the bigger layout before, which didn't work out. I don't know how many different videos I can give you of trains running around the same loop really, and keep it vaguely interesting when it's the same few locos running round. So that's a big part of the reason why also that I've not been very active. So apologies for that. Thank you for people who have sort of stuck by and subscribed and done all that. That's still fantastic and it's greatly appreciated. I'm actually on some time off this week, so what I'm going to do is, as you'll see in a second, re-looking at the other layout. So I will forward over in the next clip. See you in a second. Hi guys, so this is the bigger layout that I built. Just as a reminder, it is 6 foot long by 2'6" wide, and that enabled to get this point in to have the sort of, this was supposed to be like a terminus branch station where trains would run in. This never really got off the ground for a number of reasons. Going that bit bigger, you know, the previous board and the one I've got the current loop on is 4'2". So, you know, given that, going to this size was really awkward, hence the break in the middle. This was obviously done by myself, and as you'll probably see when I get close, not the smoothest or straightest, which didn't help. Obviously that cut was done before I laid the track because I realised how awkward it was to lift it. However, the other thing that was different as I popped one of these up was all the other layouts that I've previously done, I've always done dropper wires down and then copper tape underneath to do the electronics. I was obviously advised against this in the basis that if there was to be issues with it, or if it was to overheat, it could catch fire, cause fire. So when I built this, I actually had gone to main sort of dropper wires. Bear with me a second as I pop this board on its side. So I've actually gone with the main sort of bus wire through, and then the droppers attached. And as you can see where the droppers meet, obviously there's heat shrink to try and keep the connectors all in good order. Now unfortunately, when I did finish laying all this and put it out, as soon as I plugged the controller in, it was short circuiting, and I could not for the life of me work out why. And I've gone round and checked all of my points, making sure I've got the isolating joiners in the correct places, which that has been achieved. However, and I've also gone round checking the wires, which at the time it all appeared to be that it was in order. However, when I've got this out today, which has sort of spurred this video on actually, because I probably wasn't going to do it, I was just going to dismantle it. But what's probably spurred it on was I've looked at it again with a fresh set of eyes, and I've actually realised that I had gone wrong on here with the wiring. So as you can see, that one's black and that one's red, whereas everywhere else it's red on this wire and black on that one. So I tried that as I then sort of got the controller out, separated this board, obviously used the join to separate the boards, and actually hooked the controller up to this board here. I had a loco on here, and it ran on this bit, and then it seemed to be dead here as well. So although I think I was obviously right with where I've got that wiring wrong, there also obviously appears to be issues elsewhere with the wiring, because I also tried to put the loco here and on these rails, and it seemed to be relatively dead. So this layout is going to be pulled up now, because I'll be honest with you, I spent probably 2 to 3 weekends building it, getting it all right and doing that. I need to be utterly disappointed when it didn't work out. And the practical reality is, because of the size constraints I've got, it has spent however long it was, I can't even remember when it was when I completed it, but somewhere in the summer last year. It spent that long in the shed, in the garden, in the way, and every time I need to cut the grass I have to lift it off the lawnmower and put it out of the way. So I'm gonna just rip all this up, obviously save all the track. When I say rip it up, obviously carefully, so that all track can be reused. So that's what I'm going to do once this video is finished. But what I'm also, and the other reason why I am going to do this is because obviously, like I've said, even when I tried the other stuff with the wires, it's still become apparent that there are issues with connections and wiring. So it isn't just purely this one here where I have got them round the wrong way. But I'm really taking some time, and prior to this I've started having a little bit of time off, coming to the end of the holiday year at work, so I've using time up. So I've started to look at the basics and principles again about some form of new layout, going back to this idea of a scenic one. I think I'm quite happy with the 4x2 sort of board that I've got for the roundy. So I'm going to look more in the avenue of a sort of, you know, my ideal sort of branch line terminus sort of station and what I can achieve. So I'm going to be doing some stuff around that. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is, I've invested last year into the Dapol easy shunt couplings, as I think you would have guessed by a couple of other videos that I've done. But I've got a lot of old Pico and Farish stock, so I need to look at putting NEM sockets on those wagons to get them ready, because as you can see, sort of here and here and here, I've obviously got gaps in the track for the Dapol magnets to be sunk into it. So again, I'm going to maybe try and use this time this week to look at doing the conversions from the old Pico and Farish couplings to the new NEM pocket couplings from Dapol for the easy shunt system. Because again, if I'm going to spend the time and effort in doing some sort of new layout, I might as well have the stock ready, so that it is all ready to go from the off. I've probably rambled a bit now, so I'm going to sort of draw it to a close. The other bit, just quickly, is a lot of the screws that I've used, as you can see where it's loose on the edges again, they're not really gone in very far. So there's a lot of things that I need to think about, and obviously here where it's been stored, this has come out, so I don't know if that's where it's been stored outside. So like I say, I'm going to spend a lot of time now taking this down, obviously salvaging all of this track, but then also looking at planning for something new. Thanks very much again, and I'll hope to see you soon. Bye.